welcome to another video update from Nimbility. My name is Ian Ford. I'm here at the wonderful Pudao store on Donghulu in historic Old Shanghai. And today we're going to talk about a few things that are happening here in China and a few other things that are happening around the region. To start with, what's happening here in China? China's been in the news day in and day out over the last several months about the economy, about specifically the wine market and the spirits markets, but also just the market in general and the economic climate. And I think it's important to understand that there are a lot of factors at play, whether it's the real estate and property sector and the adjacent industries around that, construction and home furnishings and so on, that are under distress, or it's the stock market, the Shanghai Exchange, or it's export manufacturing, which is also a reflection of what's going on around the world. So there have been a lot of headwinds economically here in China, and that's impacted wine consumption in the last year. For sure, beyond the impacts of COVID lockdowns from 2022, we're facing real economic headwinds in China at the moment. What we're not facing, though, in our view, is any decline or diminishment in interest in imported wine with the Chinese consumer. There are some very structural challenges that the economy is facing, and those challenges are very real and are going to have to be dealt with. But in terms of wine, the wine market and wine consumption, there's still a lot of interest, there's a lot of energy in the imported wine category here today. Specifically, what we used to see here, a major segment of the market, was business entertaining and business gifting. And a lot of that was related to construction and real estate and the stock market and all of those related industries and export manufacturing. So when those particular sectors of the economy are under distress, the wine entertaining and gifting element from that sector of business is of course going to be impacted, and that very much is what we see has been happening. So an upside in all of this is the fact that what we're also seeing is that actual consumption in the on-trade and in places like Pudao here or Wine App across town, at the Babar restaurant that just opened up the street here and has their entire wine cellar available by glass from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's a lot of interest and a lot of actual dynamism in those arenas. And we see, again, a lot of sustained interest in the category. So I guess in summary, the market is definitely under a certain amount of distress and facing some real headwinds. The economy here in China is potentially going through a transition from one form of an economy to another, and we're seeing that transpire in real time. But ultimately, the interest in imported wine has not gone away. If anything, it's continuing to grow. Now, we've also entered trade show season. So we were attending just the last couple of weeks. Polly was in Japan, attending Foodex Japan. In April, we have Chess traveling back to Tokyo to attend Pro Wine in Tokyo. And of course, we have Vinexpo Hong Kong coming up at the end of May. Nimbility will be there with all guns blazing with a lot of our partners. And we're looking forward to a really positive, dynamic return to Vinexpo Hong Kong and all of the wine industry stimulation that creates, and the contacts and the network and the new business development that's going to happen at that great show. Now, much closer to home, this week we have the Chengdu Fair here in China, in Chengdu, the Tangzhou Hui. Now, this is a huge gathering of the domestic wine, spirits, and alcohol industry that's been going on since the 90s. It's a very historic show, and it's the biggest show domestically for the beverage alcohol industry. So I'm here in Shanghai, but Nicole from Nimbility has traveled to Chengdu, and let's have an update from Nicole on what things look like on the ground at the Chengdu Fair.
Hello everyone, welcome to Chengdu, the city of hot pot, spicy food, and of course the annual Chengdu Wine Fair. I'm actually on my way out after 2 hectic days meeting our importer and distributor partners. For those of you who are not here, you must be asking what is happening in Chengdu. Is Chengdu Wine Fair as messy and busy as it used to be? I'd say yes. The trade is still cautious from the past years of downward trend, market shrinking. But then many importers that I've spoken to are feeling a more positive than expected sentiment from their customers. We're seeing a lot of new energies, new players, and also new projects being launched during the week. To name a few. So finishing this video in the plane, BSPT has arranged a big event with their partners, including the huge installation of BSPT branded barrel and the panda on top in the city center of Chengdu. Very impressive. You can have a look from the pictures. And then also South Australian Wines is taking the stage before any announcement has been made. By including South Australia Wine Summit, master classes, and also tastings. Mulan Duo, a Chinese brand, is launching the new product, M520, in Chengdu, inviting over 300 trade contacts. So a lot of energies that we are definitely seeing from Chengdu, and a lot more are happening and still happening, still ongoing. So the trade is cautious, but positively, let's say, outlooking to the new year, and let's all hope for the best. But the energy is here and it's here to stay.
Now, in a completely different update from the region, we have exciting news from Southeast Asia. In Thailand, the government has decided to eliminate import duties and taxes on imported wine into Thailand. This is a very, very big move. It's been a very high tax regime up until now. But in an effort to support the tourism industry and to stimulate tourism, a huge industry in Thailand, the government has brought those tariffs right down. Now, there's a little bit of a wrinkle in that it actually favors mid-level to premium wines over entry-level in the way that they've restructured taxes to some degree. There's still a volumetric tax that's applied on a flat rate. But overall, the taxes have come down substantially, which should be a great stimulus for the imported wine business in Thailand. Now, in other exciting news from China, the Wynn Hotel and Resort in Macau recently held, to date, the biggest competition and exposition of Chinese wines that has been held anywhere in the world to date. A very exciting event. It was chaired by some of our most famous and high-profile MWs from within the region, Fong Yi Walker and Gus Ju, and also Andrew Kayard, a friend and a great MW from Australia. And it was a real showcase of what has developed and what level of wines that are now being made in China, primarily for the China market, but increasingly starting to get outside of China and be exported to other markets around the world. You can see here in Pudao, again, one of the great wine retail shops in China, a pretty nice selection of some of the premium Chinese wines that are available in China these days. Everything from $350 all the way up to $900, $1,580. So quite a premium spread of pricing. A lot of wines from Ningxia, but from other parts of the country as well. A lot of people have asked me, well, is that competition for my wine? You know, my imported wine from Italy or from New Zealand or from Chile, from Argentina, from France, is this competition for me? I don't think so. I think that a rising tide lifts all ships. The greater Chinese wine becomes, the more people in China become attracted to the wine category, that get introduced into the wine category. And some of the most important wine markets in the world have their own very strong domestic wine production, the United States being one of the most obvious examples of that. So I think it's a great thing. I encourage all of you, when you come to China to visit us, we can come to Pudao or go elsewhere in the market and try some of these fantastic Chinese wines that are available. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for watching and for listening to this report from Nimbility on an update on China here in March 2024. I have the great privilege tonight to go to the Drink Magazine Bar Awards, the DMBA. It's a great event that happens every year that celebrates the wine and spirits industry in China. It's very focused on bars and bartenders and spirits and great activations and brand ambassadors. It's an awesome event. I'm really looking forward to it. And I may give you guys a little bit of an update from on the spot at the DMBA Awards tonight. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. So here we are at the Drink Magazine Bar Awards in Shanghai. The entire industry is here, bartenders. So you have a look around, you can see everything that's going on. Big awards going out tonight, Bar of the Year, Bartender of the Year, and of course, all the big awards are gonna go out tonight. So we're all pretty excited. It's live streaming to millions of people across China, and it's one of the events of the year. That's right here. So this is one of the top events of the year. I wish you guys were here. I'm glad I am. Cheers. Congratulations to all the winners.
It became so much more interesting when our jobs enabled us to travel and show how our global relationships grew, and our top bartenders visited the world. The world also came to visit us, with many great bartenders and educators visiting our industry, educating and making great drinks for the Chinese people.